What's going on, guys? Welcome to your Sunday night social, I should have said. How are we all doing? Get your opinions in the chat. As you've already seen probably from the graphic, today we are going to discuss how Matthijs De Ligt and Noussair Mazraoui can be an upgrade for us and what impacts they're going to have on the team with that deal moving closer and closer and closer. So we're going to dive into specifics, the injury record, the wages, and what effect it's going to have on United as a total package in essence. So we'll chat about that. We're going to talk about pre-season aftermath, what the plans are now for next week and what we're going to do heading into that City game. We're also going to talk about the Xerxes delay. The manager's put a little bit of caution on him, saying he may not be ready straight away, so I want to talk about that. And then there's a little news story on Scott McTominay. I mean, we don't even have to cover it. It's just embarrassing shit that we usually see when bids are going in. So, yeah, we don't need to discuss that in depth too much, but I suppose we'll just save that as a little fun thing towards the end. Dan, it's been a hot minute, mate, since you have been on. How are we feeling?
Yeah, still the same. I feel like, how the season ended, I'm still with all the players. I
think your connection's slightly going.
Yeah. Ahead.
Yeah. Just have a look into it, Dan, and I'll go to Sam first on it, and then we can think. Yeah, Sam, same question to you. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a stressful couple of weeks for me, as you all know. So yeah, it's nice to distract myself and talk about football, talk about United, and do some other stuff rather than think about the things I have to do. Yeah. It's a nice change of pace.
And it's also nice because usually we have a lot of, obviously during the summer, we have a lot of transfer stories. So it's always discussing the kind of developments on the deal. And we have got a little bit on that. But today, obviously, it's more about what they will bring, what type of player they are. Because I'm not assuming everyone's watched the Lit every week, Mazraoui every single week. So maybe a little bit educational for people who are watching. I would probably say slightly different show tonight. Dan, are we here in the virtual world? Just same question again to you. Let's see how it will go.
So I think the United's condition is just like my network condition. So
yes.
I think still not there. But yeah, it feels do not feel. I was feeling a bit confident when we bought Euro and Xerxes, but now I think again we are square one. Both the players are not ready yet and haven't had a minutes. I mean, maybe complete one game, and already we are almost starting the official games, and still we are with the same teams, maybe lesser team with Varane also not there. So still a long way to go. But that's what happens every season. Like we are building a team for the season, and it takes kind of 3 to 4 weeks after the season starts, and we are losing kind of 10 points before we actually had the full team for that particular season. So still, I can see few players coming in, but still with the results we have had in the pre-seasons, it's not helping it out. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be tough times again.
Yeah,
but we are used to it.
Of course, yeah. We've battle hardened, I think the word is. So we'll go through the reports that have actually come out today on these two players, and we'll talk about the specifics, and I want to really dive into that. So early on today, we had reports from Sky Deutschland. Is it? I could be absolutely butchering that. I have no idea. I think it's Sky in Germany, basically. That Bayern have always asked for €50 million fixed fee for Matthijs De Ligt when Man United approached them. Director Max Ebery confirms the plan. Of course, all parties have to be happy, for the deal to go through. And then Romano, probably afternoonish, put something out saying Matthijs De Ligt and Noussair Mazraoui are both expected to join Manchester United this summer. Bayern Munich want a package of around 60 million for the two players. United want to pay less. Talks ongoing, but United are confident, basically, which is there's a lot of positive words in there. 60 million for both, Sam. We was kind of trying to find out the fee. Is that fair?
My first instinct is no, because De Ligt is clearly a player that they don't want anymore. Like they're obviously looking at replacements. They brought in 2 centre backs last season and are trying to bring another one in this season. That spells to me that he isn't wanted. When a player's not wanted, why are you demanding premium prices for him? The same thing with PSG with Duarte. You cannot demand premium prices for a player that you clearly don't want. you pay premium prices for players they don't want to sell and are at the top of the game, and I don't think De Ligt is that. Mazraoui, they seem to be a bit more accommodating and willing to sell at a lower price, which is good. But yeah, the De Ligt thing's weird. Like, I don't understand why you would demand so much. It'd be like us demanding 78 millions and getting our money back for Casemiro. It's like, it's just not going to happen, is it? Like, it's just a strange thing to demand. Like, I get getting some money for him and not being undersold and stuff like that, but I think sticking to 50 million, not coming down at all, they need to sort of look at that and negotiate. I think the Mazraoui deal is easy to do. I think we can do that once Wan-Bissaka goes. But yeah, the De Ligt one seems tricky, and they're holding on to this price when what are they buying Jonathan Tah for, like 20 million? Is that how much they're paying? Like, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, aren't they, at this point? So yeah, I don't think it's worth that much. I think we will settle for less, and we'll end up getting them both for less, but it just depends how much less. That's the question.
To be honest, I think their ideal price would be, I mean, for De Ligt, we can give somewhere around 35 million pounds, that to, I mean, max. And with Mazraoui, I think 10 to 15. So, I mean, combined 45 to 50 would be a decent, good price for them. But yeah, we know that the other teams, other clubs, they try to take advantage of our situation. And when we need, we see that, I mean, all the defenders are now injured, and all the clubs knows that we are desperate to get a centre back. So they will be sticking with what the price they have set for it. But I mean, every club is kind of quoting the players with the high price just because United are in the race. And especially with maybe if you talk about Ugarte, maybe in the coming moments. But with Ugarte also, you see that with João Neves, they bought it for the price, and they are quoting more than the João Neves price for Ugarte, so which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's kind to stamp our authority in it on this transfer market rather than being bent over a barrel like we usually are. And I think Neos are doing that. And naturally, fans are going to get impatient because signings aren't coming through the door and we are relatively desperate. But what I think a lot of people have to understand as well is Bayern Munich are also desperate. Yeah. They FFP, they're trying to adhere to them regulations. They want to get players in. They have to sell to buy. So I also think Ineos know that. So they're kind of being a little bit smart about it. But there are further details on this deal that I want to dive into. So Matthijs De Ligt's on 270k a week at Bayern Munich, but he is willing to take a pay cut. So that's okay. That's fine. He's played 22 games last season, but only started 16. Does it surprise you Bayern haven't utilised him more, Dan?
Yeah, I think some of the moments were because I mean, lack of game time was because of his injury. Also, that is one of my concern as well. With De Ligt also, I mean, kind of injury prone. I mean, more injury prone as compared to what he was when he went to Juventus. But after that, his career has not been that, I mean, physically well. But coming to United, I think if he plays against somewhere, because you have now like Martinez, if he plays, I mean, if he's fit, then he's definitely gonna start. Then Euro is there, so definitely Euro and De Ligt will be sharing the game time. So I think that should be fine. 16 to 18 games a season.
Yeah. Okay, I was looking at his injury record actually, Sam. In a knee ligament tear, 5 to 6 weeks. Had a knock where he was out for 3 weeks as well. And then, like Dan mentioned, then at Juventus, he had a big period where he missed 143 days with quite a big injury. But apart from that, it's been knocks, and where you're out for 3, 6, 9 games, kind of that kind of ballpark. Plus, we had Lissandro's injury scares all last season as well. So again, I don't know if I've asked you about this, but that's a bit concerning considering how preseason's gone so far, isn't it? A little bit of a red flag.
I think there's so many things. I think we've been scarred by the injuries last season. Like, it's just like, it was absolutely insane the amount of injuries we had last season. And I think people, they see a player and they're like, oh, he's got injuries. Avoid, don't buy him. And I think people are, the demand on footballers and the demand on games and stuff like that, every player at some point will suffer injuries. Like, it happens. Every single player.
How high level it is.
Like, it's just, it's a result of the game, unfortunately. Like, any high level athlete will have an injury at some point in their career, or several injuries. Like, even Bruno, who's never really injured, he limped out last year. Like he was out for a game or two. So like you just have to sort of be aware of that. So I think trying to avoid signing injury prone players or players who have injuries, I think it's near to impossible. I don't think there's many players who just don't get injured. It's few and far between. So I think that has to be sort of taken into account. The things that worry me is there's 2 ligament injuries that he's had. It's a recurrence of the same ligament injury, which tells me that it's not healed properly, which could be an issue going forward. Now, obviously, he didn't play a lot in the Euros. He was on the bench quite a lot of the time. So we don't know how fit he is. We don't know where he's standing with his injuries and stuff like that. He is still young. He's 24. So he still could have a career ahead of him. If he was like 26, 27 and he was having these recurrence of injuries, then you'd probably be like, yeah, this is not going to get better. It's going to continue on. So I think it's a risk. But if you can get him for the right price, his age profile, his leadership qualities, and the quality he does have as a player when he's at his best, it's a risk worth taking, and especially he's taking a wage cut. And then on top of that, you're going to get maybe 10 years out of him as a defender, central defender who can play like into his mid-30s. So I think that could be an asset as well. And I just think if you can get him for under the price that we're trying to buying a quote for him, I'd be all right with it. But if they're wanting us to pay 50, 60 million and the injuries, and on top of that, I'd walk away from that deal. I just think it's not a price worth paying for an injury for players who have those type of injuries.
Yeah, could start to get a little bit tricky if you start being a little bit stubborn on it, like with a couple of the other deals. But I'd love to hear everybody else's opinion, so do get them in. I know there's quite a few comments already. I promise you I will get to the chat shortly, but I just want to go through the couple of early details about Mazraoui as well, and then we'll talk about what kind of dynamic both will bring to the squad and why United want to sign him. Now, Mazraoui, Dan, roughly on 140k a week, which surprised me. I was like, ooh. So unless my math is completely bad, but I was using the calculator, so I doubt it is. This season, 5 injuries, 96 days out in total. The season before, 3 separate injuries, out for 73 days. But the one thing with this, Dan, I would argue it's not as concerning because he's going to be a backup right back and a backup left back. So it's not as much as a red flag there, is it?
But with United, you have seen even the backups were injured and even the main players were injured. So we need a backup for a backup. So, but yeah, I have been a little concerned with this deal as well. But yeah, as if when the player is fit, definitely he's going to provide us a lot of abilities on the right side. I see him kind of a more like a similar kind of a role which Diallo plays. More like an attacking or right back, which actually gives some intent of more attacking in the when we bring him on. But then definitely, but the safer side is Diallo has been always available, so he's kind of more like a Bruno kind of a player when it comes to the injury part. So I think that should be fine. But yeah, we should get a good deal for Bissaka. I hope he ends up with West Ham with that deal, which is still going on. But yeah, if we control our injury thing, then definitely we are going to be a good team in the coming season. So injuries, every topic we discuss, injuries has part in it. So that's what our situation is currently. But yeah, as a player, definitely a green light for him. And with that price, I think that's a very good deal. But minus injury, best thing we can have on the right side for now.
Okay, well, let's talk about what dynamic each player would bring, and we'll start with De Ligt, Sam. As we know nowadays, many defenders, you need to meet, several requirements at the top level. Good on the ball, decent pace about you, can play out from the back, both strong and physical. And I think from what I've seen of De Ligt, he definitely has those capabilities. Do you think that would complement Lisandro? Would he be a good partner for him?
Yeah, I think so. Like he's got a lot of similar traits as Lisandro. They're both leaders. They both fight for their teams, and I think that's what you need at the back, especially if you're going to play out from the back. You need communication, and you need somebody to take authority and go forward. We saw against Liverpool how much we suffered playing out from the back when it came to like sort of trying to pass the ball out. You got Lindelof and Johnny Evans, and I love Johnny Evans, but fuck me, can he not play out from the back? He's just not good enough. When you see Lisandro play there and you saw Varane when he's at his best, you saw how the ability to be able to play out from the back and deal with those sort of things. I think Lisandro is obviously I think I'm not by much, but I'd say he's the better on the ball player. I think he's he's a lot better than De Ligt, but I think De Ligt is probably a little bit quicker than him. Because I think Sancho is not massively pacey over the ground, but he makes up for it in his aggression and the way he goes after things and
anticipation.
And he doesn't normally lose out. Like, it's very few times that he loses out with duels and stuff like that. But I think it's going to work a similar sort of setup to how Varane did. Like, Sandro will go out and attack, and then if anything gets loose, De Ligt's there to mop it up and clean it up and sort of get the ball back. So I think it could work really, really well. Again, I spoke on the leadership stuff. He's worked under Ten Hag before, so I'm sure he's aware of how he wants to work, his tactics, and how he likes to play. Because I don't imagine it's going to be. There will be differences from the Ajax way of playing and how he operated there, but I think there'll be a lot of principles that he's brought in that he wants to bring to United as well. So I think he'll be able to slot in quite easily. I don't think he'll have much trouble adapting to the Premier League either. I think he'll be all right there. So yeah, it could be a really good sort of 3 rotations in the centre backs thing, because he could play both sides of the centre backs thing. He could play left side and he could play right side.
Yeah.
So if Sancho, you need to rest him, you could play De Ligt and Yoro, and you could play De Ligt and Lissandro, Yoro and Lissandro. And then when you need to sort of rest them, you've got Johnny Evans, who could play alongside one of them, or you've got Harry Maguire as well. As I think Lindelof's probably going to leave the club. So yeah, I like it in terms of thing. Again, the thing is his availability. Is he going to be available? Because that's what we struggled last season. We had no person to sort of fill in the gaps because everybody was injured. Every single player. Even the players that were playing, like Johnny Evans wasn't fit and he was playing games for us. Harry Maguire was injured playing for us. And then we were playing Casemiro at centre-back. And then we were playing, like, Bruno was at centre-back at one point. And it's just, yeah, I really worry. That's the one thing that worries me. But if we can get him playing and get him fit, I think he'd be a really good addition. But and he'd complement Lissandro well. But that's the big if, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a big part of his game, Dan, is very physical as well. He likes to touch tight to the opponents, use that kind of body contact, put them off, annoy him, make mistakes, these kind of things. Very old school, like defending. However, with that, sometimes when he comes up against like smaller players, like your Gabriel Jesus, for example, who can duck and weave and cause a bit of problems, he can struggle. So, with that in mind, do you think the adaptation to the Premier League, or do you think he would be able to adapt easily? Do you think he's got the ability and skill set?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you see or consider a player, when a player is coming to Premier League, the very first thing we see as an ability-wise is the strength when it comes to defenders. So I think the strength is there, the aggressiveness is there, the aerial duels abilities are there, and even the ground duels abilities are there. So I think he's kind of a package of a good centre-back that is eligible for playing in the Premier League. But the only thing I am concerned with De Ligt, apart from the injury, is sometimes I've seen him making tackles. Without holding the player, he just go inside and tackle the player. And then if any skills player or any trickster is there, then he will be easily bypassed. With one single move. So that one thing I have seen, like he jumps into the tackle very quick. So that can be improved. But yeah, and the positive thing is that his best position is as a right centre back. So and Lissandro on the left. So that could become a good partnership there. So, but yeah, I think he's kind of a full package: strength, aggressiveness, aerial duels, ground duels, and the leadership qualities. So more ticks the box. But only one thing is with the, a controlled tackling that I've seen in the previous when he was playing with Juventus. That I've seen more of the time. And sometimes you've seen like he does like a Maguire thing, just goes in and just put his legs out and for a tackle and get bypassed by the player. So that thing I've seen more often from De Ligt, but yeah, that can be improved as well.
Yeah, I think Sam made a great point before as well about the pace. Because De Ligt, I was going to say De Gea then. De Ligt isn't the quickest, but he's not the slowest either. But I think that is one thing, because obviously Ten Hag wants to play with a really high line, doesn't he? He wants, big spaces in behind. And sometimes when you get a really rapid player, an Mbappe or whatever, when you're playing at high, you need someone to match it. So like a Van de Ven, for example, or like a Saliba or these kind of players. That's the only other kind of nudging thing I would have. But Sam also made a great point about Ten Hag, that he's played in his system before, so he knows how to play that. He's been in it before. It's not like it's going to be a tougher transition. He knows the coach, and when he played his best football, it was under Erik ten Hag. So I think it would be a little bit of a risk playing high line with these two, but
I think
I don't know.
I think if we get a 6 in, a really commanding 6, I think it lessens that risk, because then you're able to push up with your fullbacks. And Ugarte is going to sit there and help them out if there is a turnover or in transition or something like that. And I think we've seen it as well in preseason. Ten Hag's trying to invert those fullbacks still. Like you saw Harry Amas do it. Wan-Bissaka not so much, but I just
Dalot does it though.
Dalot does it, but obviously he's not played. But Wan-Bissaka is a bit more difficult for him. I think we see him struggle with that. But I saw Harry Amas do it quite a bit. So I think we will see that once Dalot comes back into the team. So it's like when you're out of possession, or you're in possession, sorry, and we're pushing forward, the right back in Dalot can invert and he can help out that 3 if there is a transition over, or if you've got Iwate sitting in front of him, he helps out as well. So it's all about that. If you've got Casemiro in front of him, then I'm going to worry quite a lot, because he's either going to rush in with a 2-footed challenge and cost us a free kick, or he's going to do what he did against Liverpool and completely miss, get turned, and then they're in on goal against like one-on-one against one of the defenders. So I think getting a 6 is key to the system, and if we don't, I'm really, really worried about it. Like, it really worries me.
Because systematically it's fucked in it. Because if you think about it, when you have Casemiro, when you're trying to squeeze up the pitch like we have been doing in pre-season, it's been really effective at times. You're trying to keep everyone compact together and in unison and pressing. When there's a couple of distracted players in there, like a Casemiro or a Johnny Evans, it's like a red line in the team instantly then, and you can see teams will just target it. And it's what Liverpool did in pre-season. Sorry, Dan, you're just going to go.
I was saying, like, I've seen Maguire and Lindelof playing highline against Liverpool with Salah and Mane. So that's where I'm... You cannot see worse than that. So,
no, agreed. But the one thing I'll say about De Ligt before we move on to Mazraoui specifics is like we said, if there's going to be one coach who gets the best out of him, it's going to be Erik ten Hag. So that I have faith with. But it's weird. It can go either way. It can go right. If he turns out to be like Sandro, fucking great, fantastic, sign him. But if it turns out to be like Antony, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe not. That's a waste of money. So you just never really know which way it's going to go, and that's the interesting thing with De Ligt. Right, before we get on to Mazraoui, let me go into the comments, because there's fucking so many. Please do smash a like in the video for us, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My Damn United saying, a lot of egos involved in these negotiations. T2 flip a coin, who wins? Best result, everyone gets a deal they can spin as a win, mate. Yeah, just say you lost, you called heads, and you lost the coin toss. McMillan said, I don't see the need to panic, though. I trust the process Ineos are moving with. We had scattergun approach in the past. We have a regime with a clear purpose, not going to be reactive. Yeah, always is a cold, solid head there. United is red. Says Zubamendi or Manuel Ugarte or Rabiot or Fofana in Manchester United. A couple of options there. You were right about Casemiro, by the way, Steph. He's an 8 this season or nothing. Usual motorbike that flies past mine every single night.
Antony just turned.
Yeah.
He's not that he's not that quick, mate. He's not that quick.
No. If Antony was a motorbike as well, it'd just be in one gear, just constantly trying to.
He'd be doing donuts in the road. Just
fucking donuts. Yeah, that's a much better thing. I have my reservations about De Ligt. Just not sold on him since the beginning, and you have every right to have reservations. Lumen saying, let's be happy with whatever we get under Ineos. I disagree. I don't think we should just sign anyone and be happy.
I could just say, like, there's with the PSR and the FFP and the restrictions that we have, and also in the position that we're in, we finished 8th. We're not in the Champions League, so we don't have a lot of things. It's very difficult to go out and just get a world-class, top-class centre-back. Like, we can't just do that. Like, it's just not possible. We cannot operate the way City do, where they just go, right, who's the best centre-back? Ruben Diaz, cool, go get him. Just, we can't do that, so we have to shop in the supermarkets that we can afford. That's basically where we're at. Like, yeah, we're in Lidl, we're in Aldi, we're having to do deals and save money here, there, and everywhere. We can't go to Waitrose. We can't go to the Marks and Spencers. Like, we're just not. That's not who we are at the minute. Maybe in the future, if we get win trophies and we build and we sort out the finances that the Glazer have just like pissed away in the last 10 years, maybe we can. But at the minute, you've got to shop where you can, and this is the best available that we can get. So people just need to get on board with it.
But let's not pretend you've never been to Aldi or Asda and not made a nice meal before. You can
There's
still get a nice
bargains,
meal
yeah.
from there.
There's
Yeah.
bargains in there.
Sometimes meals turn out shit. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with the Ligt. Having 3 starting centre backs, this is from Alex, will help with keep injuries low. We could rest players a lot easier. Ginith Joseph. Okay, so his question today. How wrong can you guys be? De Ligt has similarities to Maguire rather than Lisandro. De Ligt is the aggressive kind of defender, not the cover type. Euro is a perfect cover type defender. Well, Jithin, you're more than entitled to your opinion, but one, we wasn't comparing him to Lisandro. Who compared him to Lisandro? They didn't say he was exactly like Lisandro. They said they can complement each other because they have different kind of things. So Jithin, you know, take a fucking backseat and just pop a sandwich in your gob or something, all right? Anyway, Dan Fenton, United is red. I know it's crazy that Fulham paid 35 mil for Smith Rowe and wanted Scott for 20. It's a joke. Scott is a well better player. At this stage, we're going to have to trust in the targets identified if we can even get them over the line, to be fair. Stephanie saying Varane wasn't the fastest or the best on the ball, but experience position-led De Ligt is similar. And John saying Dan, ESR, better player. Emil Smith is on about only for injuries, be well ahead. So many comments. I tried to get as many as I could then. Anyway, on to Mazraoui. Now, again, Sam, you kind of alluded to it before. In the modern game, full-backs, you have to be very important in the final third. Possession, keeping hold of it. And for all the strengths that Wan-Bissaka has defensively, we know simply he just can't do it. He looks very, very awkward, doesn't he? Bambi on ice in the final third. Mazraoui is a more natural, progressive right back who can do them roles that we was talking about before. Who can drop into midfield, can offer overlaps, underlaps. And I think one thing that will help with Dan, and one thing, I don't know if you agree with this, our right side, whatever winger we have, you know, you go for the past 4, 5, 6 years, they've always been isolated, haven't they? Because they haven't had that right back to offer those kind of runs. So bringing in like Mazraoui won't just, you know, help in terms of systematically, but the wingers that we have as well.
Yeah, since last so many years, like we haven't still sorted that partnership of right wing and the right back. So that's where the chemistry cannot be built. We had once with the Rashford and Luke Shaw, beautiful chemistry on the left side, but the same we haven't seen for kind of a decade, like with having a right winger as well as the right back combination. So that also doesn't help because your right back don't know like who is going to be your right winger for most of the games, and that's definitely has affected because that chemistry will be built only when the same 2 players will play for most of the games. Then only they will know like when he is making the runs and when he is going inside, and when you're going to expect a pass from the winger. So but yeah, with an attacking kind of with attacking mindset of right back, then definitely as a winger, now I think with Ahmad also, gelling in really well. He will be really a good player. When it comes to having a chemistry with the right back. So I think now with a player, I've not seen that with Antony, but with other wingers like maybe Sancho or maybe Ahmad, they will definitely be using more right back when they're making the runs. So definitely it's going to affect positively on the right side in the coming days. But with Antony, I'm still not confident that with Antony we can utilize our right back more as compared to the other players.
I was just about to mention that to Sam then. Some experts, as you call them, are even saying he could unlock Antony. What are your thoughts on that?
That fucking infuriated me, that headline. When I saw that, it's like he's being brought in to unlock Antony. I was like, mate, can we just give this up? Can we give this up? Like, is this? I don't want to hate on Antony because, well, he might be a scumbag.
He doesn't help himself. He doesn't help himself.
He might actually be a scumbag if the allegations that are put against him turn out to be true. But obviously we don't know, and I'm not going to comment on it.
Yeah.
But because I was going to say he's a nice guy, but I don't know that. All I can do is on the pitch stuff. Like on the pitch, he's not effective. He has no sense of like doing things different, keeping fullbacks guessing. You all know what he's going to do. He's going to cut onto his left and he's going to try and ping a shot. When has he ever done anything else in his entire career at Manchester United? Never. He also then, his attitude stinks because when he was asked to go play at fullback, he threw his hands up and he was complaining was it to Bruno? He was complaining. And then Bruno told him to shut the fuck up. Bruno told him to shut the fuck up and just get back. And so, yeah, I just think that's a massive red mark against Ten Hag, that the Antony signing. Like, obviously, he didn't choose to pay that amount of money for him. He should have had pushback from the people up above him to go, we're not paying that amount of money for him. Like, we're just not. Like, it's just a stupid amount of money to pay for him. He should have had that, and we should have moved on to another target. But I think under Ineos, you won't see that anymore. So, yeah, the idea that he's going to unlock Antony infuriates me, and I hope Antony leaves this summer, but I really doubt that he does, unfortunately. So, we're sort of stuck with him for now. But yeah, he could work well with who's going to play on the right. So Ahmad, maybe he could develop a relationship with Ahmad. Maybe he could develop a relationship with Garnacho because he played really, really well on the right-hand side. So yeah, it could be interesting to see if he does develop relationships with those players on the right-hand side. Obviously, he's probably going to be a backup. Like, Dalot is going to play 90% of the games. But it will be interesting to see if he can develop that sort of relationship with the right-hand side and he can be effective in not just assists, but the sort of pass before the assist that the right-hand side player gets. So, yeah, I'm interested to see. I've not watched as much as Mazraoui as I have as De Ligt, so I'm interested to see what he can offer. I saw a bit of him at the World Cup when Morocco were there.
Yeah.
And then I don't really watch Bayern week in, week out, only in the Champions League, and obviously he's been injured quite a bit, so it's been tricky to see what he can do. But yeah, for the price, I don't think you can argue too much. What is it? 10, 12, 14 million. Like,
yeah, somewhere around
nowadays that's pennies in it. There's pennies in world football, so I think you can't argue with the price.
Joe, the one thing that killed me with Antony, right, and it wasn't anything he did on the pitch. It wasn't anything like. I'm just going to send a picture into the WhatsApp now. If you're available to put that on the screen at some point, Sam. If not, it's absolutely cool. But please do. It was this moment, and everyone will know exactly what moment I'm alluding to. The look of a man who's won a Ballon d'Or but has done fuck all on a pitch when he's waiting to get subbed. Anyone in the chat will know what I'm alluding to right now. This guy is just like, it was like the first game as well. You know, when he scored against Arsenal and he was doing that already, and you like it, but it's a little bit over the top for me as well. But yeah, if we can get that on the screen, yeah, people will know exactly what I'm on about.
I'm working on it. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go.
But is it on there?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there it is. That stare that he's doing before he gets subbed on, you're like, Jesus Christ, man, you need to read the room. You are doing nothing. There's not one opposition player on that pitch who's looking at him coming on going, oh, God, no, he's going to do something. They look at him saying, what a fucking idiot. What is he doing?
He's got the mindset and the aggression of a player who's a world beater, but he's got none of the talent. Like, zero of the talent. Like, he's got the mindset and the aggression of like a Kylian Mbappe or a Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime. Like, he's got that kind of like, I'm the best. But then when you look on the pitch, you're like, yeah, you haven't got any of the talent. You haven't got no natural talent in that regard. So it's bizarre.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to get that out there. It was killing me. But anyway, back to Mazraoui. I was looking actually with Wan-Bissaka and Mazraoui just to get a kind of a comparison. Both of their chance creation totals over the past 2 years, which it might not suggest a massive difference, but on a per 90-minute basis, quite a big gap. So with Wan-Bissaka registering 0.76 and Mazraoui on 1.35, putting him inside the top 87% among fullbacks in Europe's top 5 leagues. So there's the statistical difference between both. Something that we've talked about before with the relationship. I mean, I don't want to dive too much into it before, but that, for me, that right-hand side has just been dead for so long. And bringing someone in like that, I mean, Dalot's going to start anyway, so it's not like Mazraoui's going to be, I hope he's not going to be a starter and Dalot gets injured. But for him to come in, it's going to be more of a like-for-like rather than Wan-Bissaka comes on and he can lock someone down. But again, we might miss that in certain games. You look at the final, if Wan-Bissaka didn't come on and lock down St. Maximum, we could have lost that game. So it can go either way in that respect, I think. But it's interesting. Just, yeah, if we was to sign Mazraoui, Dan, and De Ligt, are you happy with that window? I mean, I put a poll up at the start, which I'll get into in a minute, but them 4 or 5 signings, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 signings should work for us, but yeah, definitely they should come in as early as possible, maybe at least with the number 6, with Ugarte as one of the main key, and maybe centre back with Euro out in De Ligt. We need definitely a player in, but I'm not sure whether we are still concentrating on bringing in any striker here. If that is the case, then definitely we need to bring them in, because now Hoyland is kind of becoming more like an injury threat. I mean, injury prone with the last season as well. So I'm concerned about that area as well. With Ziggy, I don't see him as a regular starter. I mean, as a striker, but maybe kind of coming on from the bench and giving some different direction to the game. But not as a regular starter. But definitely we need I mean, maybe kind of a senior striker, maybe 30 plus, who can just kind of I'm not sure. I'm not saying with Cavani, but kind of that kind of
Bring
age.
Cavani back. That's what I say.
Yeah,
Bring him back. I just love
yeah,
Cavani. I'll bring him back for his chant.
yeah. We need one. I mean, a striker. But now we have Van Nistelrooy, so I mean, so he can give some experience to Hoyland. But definitely we need a striker with an experience of kind of a 30 plus years of age. And but yeah, but need to complete all the deals as soon as possible before we lose 10-20 points within the first few games. And also this, I think, the coming game with City, I don't think we will see any, I mean, players coming in the team and having a part in that game. But yeah, definitely with the Premier League starting, definitely you need to concentrate from the very first beginning of the game rather than losing any ground. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I don't want a sluggish start to the season. Now, we put a poll up at the start of the show, which has 63 votes. Do you think Xerxes, Yoro, De Ligt, Mazraoui, and Ugarte is a great window or average? Great. 59% said great, 27% said average, 0% said poor, and then 14% says we need more. What's your reaction to that, Sam?
I was in the we need more camp. I think Yoro is a great signing. Obviously, he's unfortunate. He got injured.
Yeah, fantastic signing.
It's not. It wasn't. It's not a thing of like he's injury prone. It was a twist of an ankle, which can happen anytime, anywhere, on a Premier League pitch, on a Sunday League pitch, wherever it is. It's just unfortunate. The Ligt and Mazraoui, the jury's out. They could be great signings. Worked on the Ten Hag. We've been through all the stuff, so they could be really, really good signings. Xerxes, I'm hopeful it's a positive sign. I'm hopeful it's a good signing. I like what I've seen, and I think any addition of a striker who's got a different profile to Højlund is a positive. So I'm hopeful that'll be a good signing. Ugarte, I think, is an essential signing. I think that is the key. I can't believe for how many years have we been doing this channel? 2-3 years. Every fucking summer, I'm asking for a defensive midfielder. Every summer.
Apart from the one where Casemiro, when he first came in, you're like, okay. Now you're like, oh, well, we need one again.
I know, I need another one. Like, it was like the right winger thing, wasn't it? It was like we were crying out for right, and just never bought one. And then eventually we got 3, and they've all been shit.
Well, we already had one, just never fucking used him with Ahmad. It's just always been there. We've never used him.
It's like, right hand side, we've got nobody. Mason Greenwood, well, he fucked his life up, so he's gone.
Yeah.
All right, we'll buy Sancho. Right, well, he's not interested in playing.
He wants to play on the left as well.
So fuck him off. We bought Antony. He's shit. So it's like, right, we've got Ahmad, and we're not going to play him, though. It's just like wasted 300 million on a fucking right-hand side. So defensive midfield, again, that is key, because if we're going to play this high press, high line system, if you don't have a number 6 who can play that system and is equally just sort of happy to sit there, screen and clear anything up, you're just going to get turned over by Liverpool, by City, people who play a similar style. So I think Ugarte and another midfielder, I would say that would be my priority. Get De Ligt in, get Mazraoui in if you have to. I mean, the right back thing doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. 2 midfielders is key. So if you're getting Ugarte in on a loan, which means you save money, which means you go and get another one, whether that's Rabiot, whether that's Amrabat, whether that's Zubimendi, whether that's Fofana, whoever it is, just go get an additional midfielder, because I think we need 2 minimum. Because if you lose Ugarte or you lose Casemiro, you're fucked. You're done. Like, it's over. Like, you've got Mason Mount, Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno, all of who cannot play the 6. They can't. Or Eriksen, who's even worse. So I think 2 midfielders is key, but I don't see us getting 2, unfortunately. But I think that's key for me.
I want to bring it slightly back to the football, because there was a report before. So United flew back straight back to Manchester after last night's game. The players that were on tour are expected to report back to Carrington on Wednesday after a couple of days off, and that's essentially when the season starts properly for them, with the Community Shield as well. Just on pre-season in general, Dan, because we haven't had you on during it much. Do you think it's been more successful than last pre-season? Because the year before was a bit of a nightmare, going here, there, everywhere, wasn't it? So do you think have you seen more of an identity, more of a style in this one?
I think, yeah, regardless of the results we had, but I think the game style has bit improved. It's not like more of what we have seen the whole season. I mean, not without any style, but now we can see like Ten Hag is able to implement his ideas into the team, even though we didn't get the goals. But still, we could see some here and there the moves are coming in, and the people are getting connected, and they are understanding each other, and the passes have been improved. So I think this has, and even though those players who have been starting all these pre-seasons, I still kind of 3 or 4 players will be our main 11, but remaining players still haven't hit the ground yet with the, I mean, with the original games. But yeah, definitely we cannot judge based upon the preseason, because sometimes we even had a kind of a great, excellent preseason, and then we just dished it off at the beginning of the season. So, but yeah, good to see some, I mean, kind of a play style that is developing in the team. Kind of see what Ten Hag is trying to bring into the team. We have already seen like Ten Hag tries to bring something, but he do not have the set of players, or that connection is not building between the players. But that is we can see in the coming in these preseasons. That is only the one positive here. But yeah, we can build upon that with the more, I mean, kind of more experienced players, more senior players who are going to start the game. If we implement the same ideas with those players, then definitely the effectiveness will be more. So I think yeah, going in the right path. But yeah, definitely we need players coming into the team as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Random guy has just put a super chat in. Absolute legend. Appreciate you, brother. Saying those signings and Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Scott Sold would be an 8 out of 10. I'd have to agree. I think I'd have to agree with that. 5 signings: Awate, Xerxes, Yoro, fucking hell, De Ligt, Mazraoui, and then you get rid of Scott, you get rid of Wan-Bissaka. I think that'd be pretty good. That's an 8 out of 10 window. The midfielder is key though. If you don't get the midfielder in that, if we go into the season without a midfielder, you're making a rod for your own back, because Casemiro in that midfield is going to kill you. I promise you, he's going to kill you.
And I hope we get Amrabat back in, because with one season we have seen like he has now at the later end of the season we could see that he was gelling in with the team, and he was playing really well. So I think we will have, I mean, the manager, the coaches will have to put less effort on Amrabat to bring him up to the speed than compared to the other players. So that's where I would like to see Amrabat. Yeah.
On that though, Amrabat hasn't trained with us. He hasn't had a pre-season either, so he's going to take a couple of weeks to get into the squad. I know he knows the squad and he's familiar, but in terms of fitness levels, it's going to take a while with him. Same thing with De Ligt. We've had Ten Hag come out today as well, say Xerxes started training, but it's going to take time. He has to adjust to English football. So it looks like Jadon Sancho is going to play as our striker. He said Marcus is definitely an option, but he's more productive from the left. Yeah. So going into the season as Sancho was a false nine, I don't think anyone expected that, did they? That is crazy, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody expected the Højlund injury, though, did they? Like, that wasn't foreseen. Yeah. Like, he pulled up his hamstring, and it's like, we thought maybe a couple of weeks, but it's like 6 weeks. You're like, fucking hell. Yeah. That's a long time. So, and then, yeah, you were hoping, like, oh, Højlund starts because he's familiar with the league. He knows what he's doing. So that would give Xerxes time to sort of bed in and stuff like that. And obviously now Ten Hag doesn't want to do the same as what he did to Højlund, where he just chucked him in the deep end.
Xerxes, change of plan.
Like, just chuck him in the deep end and sort of deal with it, sink or swim. But to be fair to Højlund, I thought he did really, really well, like last season, despite it being his first season in Premier League. I thought he got a good goal ratio and there were some positive signs. So, yeah, I don't like the idea of Jadon Sancho playing the 9. I think there's so many players at the club I think we still need to get rid of. And I think we need to be a bit more cutthroat about it. It seems like we're being a little bit too nicey and thinking, you know, falling into the trap of, oh, maybe this season they come good.
With who specifically do you think would
Sancho? I don't think I don't see it. I just don't think he ever comes good for United. I don't think it ever happens. He's on too much money. He's on 350k a week. He's on too much money. I just don't think it ever happens. Casemiro, I think he's done. Over. He's on 350k a week. He's done. Like, he needs to go.
It's hard to get rid of him.
I understand. Logistically, I understand it completely. Logistically, I know it's hard to shift when players want that hour wage.
Yeah.
But I just think until we get rid of these type of players, you're going to see so many things go wrong. And then the manager's going to get the blame and he's going to get the boot. And then we're going to be in the same position in about a year's time. New manager in your spot, and it's just going to be the same repeat bullshit. We need to get rid of these players. They need to go, and it needs to happen quick. But I get it. I understand why it's a problem. It's just, it's so annoying just to see the same players in the squad again and people getting excited going, oh, this is going to be his year. This is going to be his year.
What if?
I think, personally, to me, I think Rashford's done. I don't think Rashford should play for Manchester United anymore. I think it's over. Wow. There's a whole bunch of them I think needs to go. Luke Shaw's another one. I think injuries, I just think he's done. I think it's over. We need to move on from these players and keep hoping. Remember every year, Martial, maybe this year he gets it together. Maybe this year is thing. And it never happened. And now he's gone and we lost him for free. We didn't even get any money for him. I think we need to sort of clear out a lot of players still. I still think there's so many.
It's like a girl who's got a shitty ex-boyfriend. It's like, he'll change, he'll be different. And you're like, he's never going to change. He's got to be the same dickhead. I'm not calling Rashford and Luke Shaw a dickhead, but they're going to be the same player, the same person. Like, you can see.
They've shown nothing. They've shown nothing to prove to me otherwise. Like, people went, oh, he's back when he was at, Sancho was at Dortmund. He had one good game. One. Yeah. Every other game, he was forgettable. He got taken off, didn't he, in the semi? Was it? He had the good. Was it the quarterfinal? The good game against PSG.
Yes, I think so.
And then semi-final, he got taken off after 60 minutes because he was shit.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's just, it's bizarre. Like, people still think he's gonna come good. Rashford, he has spurts and like patches where he's good, and then he just completely disappears. And you can't have that in a team. When you're trying to build something, you're trying to win stuff. You can't have those players in your team. You just can't.
Yeah, Dan, if I would have said to you after that after the PSG game when all them admins on Dortmund's account was putting like, oh, you were never familiar with this game and blah, 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 and when he was on loan there, if I would have said to you he was starting the season as our striker, you wouldn't have believed me, would you?
Muppeteers did. Muppeteers said it. He said one of the two, Greenwood or Sancho, would be still at United this summer, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Sancho, because I have never seen him. I mean, I couldn't find a position for him in United lineup because he's not good on the right side. He hasn't shown that much abilities on the right side. He has been good a bit on the left side, but little patches here and there. But then on the left, Rashford is there. Unless I mean Rashford is still here in the club, he will always be going to start the game on the left side. And with Sancho, I think the only positive thing, I think only the one couple of games that he showed was, I think, in previous year's preseason match when he was playing as number 9 or something, and he was playing really good in that position. But then you have Bruno for that position, and he's irreplaceable. So Sancho is not having his position to be here. I mean, even the bench role also, you cannot depend on a player kind of a Sancho who can come on in the middle of the game and change the game for us. So his role is still uncertain for me. Like, we will get some benefit out of it. Even with number 9 as a non-striker, we have never got a result out of that. Maybe against City or somewhere when we played with Bruno as false 9 in any, I mean, kind of a very rare games. But he's kind of with a regular game plan like this, it's not going to work out. But yeah, definitely we cannot blame the situation here because the wages are there. The wages problem is there, and again, if you see, he can only go out on loan, and I don't see any team coming in and buying him with that. I mean, with a young age and with losing his wages. So we are still stuck with him, at least for. We were hoping for him to, become kind of a big star in Dortmund's shirt, and then some club will come in and buy him. And in recent days, I think we have seen a link with PSG also. I was really happy on that day, but then it has just died down. So I think we are stuck with Sancho until his contract expires.
Yeah, can Saudi just offer us 200 million for Sancho, Antony, Casemiro, and maybe chuck a couple of others in there who we don't want? Yeah, that'd be ideal, but that's why I think Ineos are very aware it's just going to take a couple of years, isn't it, to sort these issues out. 100%. But I hope he has a good season because then his value naturally goes up and then it's easier to sell him. So I hope he has a good season.
Prove me wrong. Like Rashford, absolutely. Sancho, all of them, I think, who don't have any futures. Prove me wrong, please. Please prove me wrong. I'm happy to eat my words if you guys have absolute stormers of seasons. Please do.
Yeah. I think Rashford's going to have a good season. I call him a purple patch player because he dips and troughs and dips and troughs. And I think this is the season where he's going to be really, really good again. But then again, the season after he could have 3 goals and 2 assists.
I disagree.
You don't think he's been sharp in pre-season?
I think he's been all right. I think he's been okay.
I think he's been very sharp.
Oh, I think people are overhyping it because the awful season he had last season, any sign of like some sort of interest or some sort of like, oh, he actually enjoying himself, people think he's really good, and I don't think he is. I just don't think, I don't rate him as a player anymore.
Dan, what do you think for Marcus this season?
I think with the only place where I can get some confidence out of Marcus Rashford is when Luke Shaw plays on the left wing. I mean, left back as a left back.
Amas has been pretty good for him in pre-season as well. If he can, grow into that role.
Yeah, but we have, and Rashford has to, improve his game style. I mean, kind of, decision making, which has always costed him his, game performance. So he has to bring in players to play around with him, especially with the strikers. And we haven't seen like he's kind of, in the last season, the one of the big reason why he lost all his famous, the personality or everything, all these abilities was because he was not able to make right decision in the final third, and he was, kind of playing as a lone player. Kind of a lone player. But yeah, if he, it just takes a single pass to, improve your game at some time. So being just play basic football. That's only what we require from these players, rather than just take the ball and rush into the goal and just try to prove yourself and score a goal and try to prove yourself. But play as a winger, just pass it, just play simple football, and you will be improving your game style, and people will then again be fond of you again.
Agreed. Right, let's see what the lovely people are saying in the comments, and then we can kind of finish off with this. I don't see Amrabat coming. That's from McMillan. Charlie Malman says the question, if we got a great or average window, is not only who comes into the club, but those who leave the club. Scotty looks to not be going anywhere. Yes, very. Everyone always has smart comments in there. It's a very intelligent community. Hope you're wrong on that one. Personally, I know you don't rate him, but for 8 million, it's a no-brainer. Back up to me. I think it's on about Amrabat. Cass has got 2 years left. Don't think he'll be leaving. Casemiro's staying. I'm telling you right now, mate. He's staying. He ain't going anywhere.
The wages, the wages just any sort
killer. Absolute killer. And the way he's playing, even Saudi looking and going, fuck that. I don't want to sign him. He's fucking horrendous. All the circus acts are leaving slowly, and that clown car wheel had fell off and is a banana up the tailpipe, but we'll get there eventually. Okay. Yeah. Real Reds talk. My worry is, lads, that we're going to be going into short for the start of the season. Hope I'm wrong. Would just be happy if it's Amrabat instead of Uwate and we get De Ligt in the right back. Sam, if it's just Amrabat, does that suffice?
Not good enough. Not good enough.
No, because
he's good.
He's not given that much confidence that he is a regular starter.
I like Amrabat, but he's not your 36 game defensive midfielder. Like he isn't. He's the guy who comes in when you need to rotate. He's the guy when you come in when you need to shore things up. Or you like to defending a lead and stuff. But yeah, I don't think I like him a lot, but he's not the signing we need to change things around. He's an addition, not the one that we need to change.
Like a bench player,
McMillan, I just see Ineos taking a rational and systematic weeding process. We deep the rooted cancer in the team, and squad is going to be painful and uncomfortable process. So we're going to have to bear. The issue is, you're right. The issue is I have with it. It's like we've been going through that process for 10 years, so it's hard for me to have patience. I know we need to, and I know it's probably going to be better for the future. But it's hard to sit here and be like, I'm willing to wait, because we've had 10 years of shit. I know we've won trophies along the way, but some of the football, that Crystal Palace game last season, lads, you just like, God.
Pick a game. The Crystal Palace, the Bournemouth game was fucking abysmal. Like the Brentford game, like Jesus Christ, there was so many games where I was just like, what am I doing here? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Richard in the chat with a slightly different topic, saying, "Evening, guys. I'm pissed." So he's not even pissed. He's pissed. Which. Yeah. My Damn United saying Sam is in no prisoners mode tonight.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. If you knew the weeks I have had, my Damn United, you'd know why. I'm trying to get some shit off my chest.
Hey, Richard, birthday boy tomorrow. If it is your birthday, Richard, I will personally sing to you directly down the camera tomorrow, whether you want it or not. Happy birthday. So, yeah,
whether
if it is your birthday,
or
then...
not.
Yeah, whether you want it or not. You're going to get an happy birthday
You're
down
gonna
the camera.
sit there and you're gonna fucking enjoy it.
Yeah. Pay attention. Happy birthday, mate. Sam, I hope you're good. Guarantee Sam things. Why is everyone being dead nice to Sam? Can I have some compliments? Can Dan have some compliments, please, as well? Throw them in there. Yeah, I'd appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. Brighton games. Okay, Jithin, thank you for that. There's loads of games that were terrible last season. I know there's a giant fucking list that we can go through, and the season before. And I also think there's going to be some hiccups this season. I can promise you that. I think we're going to concede a lot. I said it on the afternoon show earlier today. I think we're going to concede a lot of goals if we don't sort out our defensive issues. I think we might score a lot, but yeah. At least the games would be barn burners then, in that sense. You know, your Wolves kind of games, your Liverpool ones, makes it slightly more exciting, but also your blood pressures fucking skyrocketing.
I would just love, though, to have a couple of games where it's like a comfortable 2-0 win. Like, can we just have a couple of those? Just so I can sit there and enjoy it. There's no worries. There's no anxiety towards the end. Like, it's just, 2-0, shut it down, and we're good. Nice 3 points. I'd love that. Just give me 2 or 3 of those. I'd be happy.
Yeah. Right. The last 5 minutes. Should we discuss this McTominay fucking news that's dropped earlier?
What have they offered now?
Oh, my God.
Hashtag justice for McTominay.
Yeah. Get it trending. You slightly mentioned it before, Sam, but I just want to bring it to the forefront. Galatasaray now believe a deal for Scott McTominay is impossible. The Turkish side simply unable to pay above 15 million euros for him. We know. It's been reported.
Fuck off. Yeah, getting him.
I mean, I've said this before, and again, the risk of repeating myself, I sound like a fucking parrot. You saw the bid going in from Fulham for 17 million. They rejected it, and then you went, we'll give you 13 million. That's not how business works, ever. You can't go to the shop and go, there's a crispy roll there for 70p. He's said to the shopkeeper, I'll give you 60, and he's like, no, the price is 70. And you go, I've got 30p, mate. He's going to look at you like you're an idiot. So, Galatasaray, sort your shit out. What's going on?
Also, Fulham have then offered 20 million, which has also been rejected. And you're going, I can't afford to pay 15 million. The price ain't 15 million. It's above 20. So what are you talking about? Why are you here? It's so weird.
I've seen this situation somewhere, like in FIFA. Like I have already have a bid in, but then some team comes with a lesser bid. Like what's the point?
On FIFA as well, you do like you put daft. So you see a player like, I don't know, who's like Musiala, let's say, is worth 100 mil. You go on FIFA and you put in, right, I'll offer you 30 million and I'll give you Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, and fucking Lindelof, as like a trade. And then on FIFA, it'll just go, they'll shake hands and go, that's a good deal for me, mate. This is real life, Galatasaray. This is not FIFA. So just bear that in mind, please. Absolute nonsense that is. And we've got 15 million euros. That's not going to get you McTominay's leg.
They haven't got 15 million. That's what they're saying. They can't afford the 15 million. So they haven't got 15 million. So it's just like, why are you
pay 12 million for a player who's just scored 10 goals in the Premier League for us? 12 million quid. Come on, come off it. Sancho's 6 months' wages is more than that, probably. Right, I'll do these last few comments, and we can definitely go. Because we're getting near the hour mark now. My Damn United, Nick, the new Pete Boyle, best compliment going, sing away, Nick. Who's Pete Boyle?
I don't know.
Sam?
I don't know.
Sam's a much more educated man than me, and if you don't know Pete Boyle, that's a very niche reference. I'm sorry.
I know Susan Boyle. I don't know Pete Boyle.
Oh, well, Susan Boyle. Now we're cooking. I can do a bit of Susan. Yeah, I can do a bit of Susan. I'm not sure about Pete, unless that's her husband or something. I'm not sure. Do you think, Joseph, our first hiccup to this season will be against Fulham? So the first game of the season is going to be our hiccup.
Fuck's sake. Yeah. I'm going to that game. Don't say that. I don't want to do. I don't want to see that.
Random guy saying, just a quick prediction. I believe Newcastle would have an unbelievable start to the season. They have a very good run of games. And also, they don't have Champions League either. Yeah. So
they've kept all their players. Bruno Guimaraes still there. Isaac's still there. Like, nobody's coming for them. He was paying 100 million for Alexander Isak. It's not.
I don't know. I could see like City jumping in and just doing a mad deal for Guimaraes or something. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling because they've not done anything yet. So I'm just waiting for him to strike. Who knows? They might not. Just sorry, just read that out. Punch Paint is saying he's worth more coming off the bench than under 25 plus add-ons. Fred was worth more than 15 mil. Yeah, that was a shocking deal as well for Fred. Paid 50 for him, sold him for 10. Awful. And it was like 5 with 5 in add-ons. Joke.
Didn't he get part of the transfer as well? We didn't even get all of it. Like James from Upstairs was saying he got like sort of 2-3 million of it as well. So it's just like we didn't even get any of it.
Yeah. Millen saying, Galatasaray using the feel sorry for me tactic. Poor peasant boy beggar on the street corner tactic. What the fuck? Puppy dog eyes.
It's basically like Oliver, innit? It's like,
Oliver,
please, sir,
yeah.
can I have some more?
Yeah, that's what he's
Like,
going
get
for,
fucked, mate. No.
Please, sir. No, piss off. You're not having Scott. They're like the people that offer you their Xbox for your killer PC on eBay. Exactly, Alex. All the analogies that you can possibly think of. We're winning against Fulham. Don't worry, lads. Arsenal could go for Isaac.
Nah.
These fucking motorbikes, honestly. I will get Pete Boyle on your show next week. Who the fuck is Pete Boyle?
I'm Googling Pete Boyle.
So, yeah,
Who the
right.
fuck is this?
Before we go, we have to find out who Pete Boyle is. So
Pete Boyle.
let's have a look.
He's a Manchester United song singer writer. So he writes all the songs for United.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pete Boyle. Wow, I'm not educated. I should have known that.
There
Pete Boyle. I thought. I mean, I don't know how you would get the wrong instead of Susan, like a text correction or whatever. But yeah, Pete Boyle. Fair enough. Listen, guys, you know this by now. If you want a song, I'll sing it for you. But when we sign players, especially, and then I will create a song and I'll sing it for you. So big up Pete Boyle anyway on this random Sunday. Big up the lads for joining me. It's been a very in-depth, very educational, but also funny chat. As always, that's what we like to do on Real Reds Talk. Please do smash a like in the video for us if you can, you lovely legends. And you know what? In about an hour's time, I'll probably drop that. We dropped a members video for that Cheeto or Be Martin. We'll just put it for public. So if anyone in the chat who isn't a member, then check out that video and let us know what you think of it. If not, we'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock for a new show. So I should see you guys then. And then again at 7. And we've got a big week ahead of us. Don't forget, Man City in the Community Shield. We've got a big season preview that we want to do, which is always a very fun show. There's loads of us on. And yeah, loads of shit and things in the works and plans, etc. So, anything else, Sam, that I've missed before we go?
I've just booked a guest that we've been trying to get, as you know who he is, Nick, for so long. And he's finally booked in. So it's not next week, it's the week after. So stay tuned to it because I've been trying to get this guy on for God knows how long and I finally got a date. So yeah, look out for that.
Personal favourite of mine. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Dan, any plans for next week? I mean, have you killing any scorpions or what you
snakes, leopards, all the other shit that lives in your backyard?
Yeah, that actually more to the point. And that's a better question to finish on. Have you come across any wildlife recently in the past couple of months or so? Has to be yes.
No, I think it has been dry for the last 1 or 2 months.
Okay.
So I haven't seen anything crawling.
No snakes, no scorpions, nothing. You've been okay.
No.
Okay.
Not yet. Yeah. Maybe my elder brother, he's seen one.
By the way, chat. We've got videos from Dan in our group chat killing snakes. There's been shit outside his house. There's been scorpions. There is a leopard or something in a village nearby. Like, there's fucking mental shit going on in where Dan's from. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And you thought, you guys thought... Go on.
Maybe I can share one moment. Like, recently I was just coming back from work in a motorbike, and I was just passing by the road, and on the left hand side at the edge of the road I could see one snake was there. So I was like, I'm really far going from it, and suddenly I saw it jump for 2 feet towards me.
God.
I was like, when did you get these features?
Wow. A snake with superpowers in India. What on earth is going on there? That is fucking crazy. I shit it when I see a pigeon when it flies near me, let alone a snake.
That's Nick not going to India for the heat and for the animals. There's 2 reasons right there where he's not going.
Listen, if you've got 50-degree heat and jumping snakes, I'm sorry, I'm out. I'm never visiting there ever. You can come over here, Dan, and we'll go Old Trafford. I'm not going to India. Mick Millen, that comment is getting fucking pinned, and we're going to end the show with. I promise you're going to end the show with this because that is incredible. Are you ready for this, Sam?
I've just read it.
Why fart and waste it when you can burp and taste it, Nick?
Mick Millen, whatever you're on, mate, can I have a dose of that, please? Because you are in another stratosphere, my friend. Absolute stratosphere. Oh dear. It's broken, Nick. It's broken, Nick. So fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
That is so random. Why fart and waste it when you can burp and taste it? Yeah. All right. Right. Let's leave it there.
Wait. TTM. He's got a serious question. Please answer honestly. So
Okay.
What is the question, TTM? Please do.
It's going to have to be very serious because the past two
Yeah.
ones, we talk about jumping snakes and farting. So you're going to have to throw something in there that's finger. Plus, it's getting late for Dan. What time are we on over there, Dan?
It's 12:40 in the night.
12:40. My God. Yeah, so TTM, come on. You've got that countdown. You've got a 30-second fucking timer.
The pinned question. Oh, like, why fart and waste it? Is he saying?
Oh,
please
right.
answer.
Oh, I was expecting like a real, like, you know, philosophical, deep fucking something there. Okay, the quad is on, says Richard.
I've got one for you, Nick. Is cereal a soup?
Is cereal a soup? No, it's cereal. What do you mean?
It's liquid and use a spoon, and it's got stuff in it, much like a soup. So, is it a soup? Is it a type of soup? Cereal.
Well, is yogurt a soup?
No, because it's not. Yogurt's a bit thicker, isn't it? The yogurt's a different beast.
Okay. Is cereal a soup? Did not have that on my bingo card for questions. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And the reason why I say no is because I actually really like cereal, and thinking of it as soup at night is a bit weird.
So does soup have to be savoury then?
Warm. Has to be warm as well, doesn't it?
You can have warm cereal. You can have warm Weetabix and stuff.
Oh, no. Warm Weetabix, that's a given. But, like, everything else, you can't have warm Cheerios, can you? Just fucking leave it in on the windowsill for half an hour.
Punchbait's got a question. Are zombies and mummies the same thing?
Oh, that's a good one. Dan, I'll throw that one to you, mate.
They're both the living dead. They're both the living dead. Like, they're both corpses that are reanimated. The only difference is mummies have the bandages. That's the only difference, isn't it?
Well, Dan's way too tired for this shit. He's like, fucking mummies and fucking zombies. What are you on about? Dan, answer. Go for it. Oh, no, I don't know.
Only difference I can see is you can see one's face and one's face you cannot see.
Yeah, it's just the bandages. That's it. That's the only difference.
Yeah, they've got a medical kit. That's the difference. Why do lemons have teeth? This is going north now. What?
What joke?
Why do lemons have teeth?
There's a punchline to this. There's definitely.
Is this a serious question or is this a joke, my
No,
Dan?
I think it's a punch. I think it's a punchline.
I was eating cereal watching this stream. You mean milky soup? Can you imagine someone saying that to you in the morning, like, "Oh, what milky soup?
Milky soup.
Yeah, like, fucking not. That sounds weird.
No, I don't.
Got some milky soup? Absolutely not.
No,
fuck off.
I don't want milky soup.
What any milky soup? Damned. Come on, we're waiting for it. Why do lemons have teeth?
I'm gonna Google it if he's not gonna type it.
Because we really need to go. No punchline, guys. Just random shit. Bang on theme. Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that then. We actually have to go now. It's an hour and fucking 7 minutes. We've been live for quite a while, and Dan's gonna fall asleep. If a zombie, no, not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it. No, not doing it. Not doing it. Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Subscribe, smash a like on the video, and if you've got any other weird questions that you want to throw, come join me tomorrow at 12 o'clock on the live show.
Also, I want everybody in the chat tomorrow to sing happy birthday to Richard. That's tomorrow.
Yes.
So when Richard's in the chat, we're all singing happy birthday to him. So make sure you're in the chat.
And don't forget my solo, Richard, because I'm going to stare down the barrel of the camera and give you 30 seconds, mate. Don't you forget about that.
Don't you look away from me. Don't you dare look
don't,
away.
Richard. Eye contact, Richard. I'll do it in Sean Dyche's voice as well.
While singing, you can do like this.
The answer is there. Oh, God. Right. Appreciate it, brothers. We're actually going to go now. We'll see you in a bit. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. And yeah, we'll see you at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Peace. Goodbye.